The ripple of a stream's riffle is a soothing sound of nature. The pool of water formed by that riffle brings calm in a turbulent world. But both can also inform us, tell us by the creatures within, whether the water is healthy or unhealthy in terms of bio and ecological diversity. Stream ecologists like Dr. Darrin Hunt keep an ongoing record of what's going on in the streams and waterways all over America. In this story, we'll go along with Dr. Hunt and his wife, Dr. Hunt, and see what's moving around in Greenbrier Creek, located in Clarksville, Arkansas.
Yeah, my name is Dr. Darrin Hunt. I am an assistant professor at the University of the Ozarks in biology. I also work in the environmental studies department as well.
Today's research site is in the heart of Clarksville, in Klein Park. Greenbrier Creek flows through the middle of the park, and Dr. Hunt says this small stream will give up vital information to a national study.
So the University of the Ozarks is participating in a nationwide research project where we're using benthic macroinvertebrate organisms to assess stream quality and to investigate three long-held ecological principles. One, the thermal regime, to see how heat impacts biotic communities within streams. Two, the urban stream syndrome, which we'll be looking to see how urbanization impacts stream systems. And then three, the intermediate disturbance hypothesis, which is essentially large weather events that may also impact biotic communities. In addition to that, we're also taking water samples to see if we can use eDNA to tell us a little bit about the benthic macroinvertebrate community. So eDNA is environmental DNA, so it's just ambient DNA we find in the environment. Benthic is referencing the bottom of a stream system, so the benthos are the organisms that kind of hang out in and around the stream bottom. And then macroinvertebrate organisms are essentially describing organisms that don't have a vertebrae. So in this case, we're looking at larvae of terrestrial insects, right? So there's these macroinvertebrate organisms that just kind of hang out in stream systems for most of their lives, and then they emerge and sort of move upstream and lay eggs, but the majority of their lives are spent in this larval state in the stream bottom. This would be like mayflies or stoneflies or caddisflies, which are a lot of our trout fishermen are paying close attention to these organisms. Those organisms spend most of their life as larvae. Then just for a couple of days they'll emerge, move upstream, do some reproductive stuff, and then start the cycle again.
The scientists gather insects, separating them from the rocks, dirt, and the other stream materials they've collected.
In the tray. We got a crawdad over here. Needs to be relocated to his home.
My assistant is Dr. Whitney Hunt from the sociology department at the University of the Ozarks, and she is, of course, my partner, my wife. She's helped me a lot. As we've moved through our graduate work together, traveling throughout the eastern seaboard, we investigated a number of different climates and sites. These are in situations where it would be really difficult for me to bring a student. So Whitney, who had worked with me plenty in and around the Detroit area where we did our graduate work, also we did a bunch of volunteer stuff, so she just got her hands dirty with this kind of work just in general. So getting her out in the field with the experience she has is always huge.
From the field, the bugs go straight to one of the labs in the Wilson Science Center at the University of the Ozarks.
So, this is my camera. And this is one of the many reasons we love Ozarks and Derek Warren for ordering super amazing microscopes for us, is that everything that we see there can show up there. This is kind of neat, right? So that what you're looking at there is it's a Polycentropotidae caddisfly. They are net spinning caddisflies. Pretty much collect debris as it floats downstream, feeds on it. They're pretty sensitive, so the fact that we're seeing them there tells us some pretty positive things about the water quality. We're doing two creeks here, and nobody's asking us to run this data. I just like to look at it for fun. I send it to like the leadership hub, and they kind of are looking at the broader 30-ish streams that's being looked at in the project. But I still have my 2, right? So I'll run my 2 so that we can, as our little community within the University of Ozarks, students, et cetera, can sort of check it out. You know what I mean? They can make posters on it and come up with a research question that they think is cool and kind of address environmental questions using the data we derive. And we beyond what's being done with the broader Inverts project, we are going out 3 times a year. So we go out in the fall, in the spring, and in the summer. So one thing that's kind of cool is we've gone out, I've only been here for a year, right? So we went out in the fall, we went out in the spring. This is our summer. We're going back out in fall and October. We will now have 4 iterations of this data set, right? So we can look at how that data set has changed over the course of a single year after this data has been sort of generated and gathered. Then we can sort of start with next year, and then we can do all kinds of weird stuff, right? We can look at differences between the 2 rivers. We can look at differences between the 2 years. We can look at differences among the seasons. So there's a lot of questions that we can ask. And one of the things that's cool is that if you look at the 2 stream systems we were in, Spadra Creek, which is in a really forested park area, and Greenbrier Creek, which runs through Klein and is in a very like open park space. You can see like solar radiation is pummeling Greenbrier Creek and Klein Park, but it's pretty much protected by the canopy of Spadra Creek. So we can ask questions like, how does, land use in park space affect benthic macroinvertebrate communities? So that we can start asking some of those simpler questions and expand to ask broader questions with the larger data set. So it's kind of cool, yeah.
How do I
want to give you more though. We're not quite done yet. You took it a little prematurely.
I can't see it with both my eyes in there.
Bring it back here a second.
Why doesn't it work?
It will.
It's not working.
Okay.
There's my
Give me a
eyelashes.
second. I'll fix it.
I'm not
Don't worry. It'll be okay. Look at those clams in there.
I know. That's the little one I remember collecting.
Those are corbicula. Those are actually invasive clams. Corbicula flaminea, aka the basket clam, the golden clam, formerly known as the Asian clam.
Because people would catch them in baskets and
Right.
eat them.